Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about New Worlds, Amazon's MMO, on update that they just put out today, March 16, 2021. It's talking about more of what they've changed, the in-game stuff, as well as Ebb and Scale Reach, which is one of the new locations they put in towards the end of the game. It's the in-game level. Now, this is a little bit different type of video for me. Um, I'm not used to doing the reading style. I mainly do like video games and stuff like that. Which when this game does drop, I will be streaming it on Twitch, and I'll be probably cutting up my Twitch videos and putting them on YouTube for the people that's interested. For the path of a blacksmith or an armor smith. It might not be the most entertaining stuff, but to me, I've always wanted to do it since I was a little kid. Now I get the chance to do it, so I'm going to do it. There's a whole lot to read here, and I'll show y'all exactly. I'll zoom the page out so y'all can see exactly how much there is on this as we go. Um, and we might as well just jump right into it because, like I said, there's a million. I'll zoom out, let you see it, zoom back in. I'll blow it up a little bit bigger in case you want to kind of pause the video, follow along, or what have you. But be sure to subscribe if you're liking the content, hit the bell, and turn on the notifications. It'd be much appreciated. So with that being said, let's get into it. Now, like I said, there's a lot of stuff here, and I'll show you exactly how long this is going to be. So I'm not going to hit on every bit of it. They say it starts here, and it ends way down here. So we got a lot to read. A lot to read. I'll go ahead, let's go back up to it. Yeah, I'll blow it up right there. So maybe y'all can follow along. I mean, look at this. It's going to be a lot of stuff to read through, guys. Just let you know the starting of it, this update for the ones that may be interested. The Empress of Ebb Scale Reach Spotlight. It's talking about the new zone Ebb Scale. It's just gives you a little bit of backstory on it here. Like I said, I'm not going to hit up everything. Just going to go through it slowly but surely. See where we get from. See what we get from where to where. But it does say here, like it's located north of Monarch's Bluff and west of Brightwood, intended for player level 51 or above. Self-explanatory, right? So if you notice what I'm doing, I'm going to hit the bullet points, not necessarily read the back lore and all that on it. It also talks about the new enemies here. Heavies, musketeers. These are all corrupted, by the way. Warriors, spear captains, summoners, and maidens, as well as taggers and corrupt taggers. Which I find that very interesting with the corrupt tagger stuff. I'm kind of glad they're putting in like animals for us to go up against as well, and it ain't all got to do with undeads or uh blights or anything like that as far as poisoning and stuff like that. So they do add animals in. I think that's kind of cool as they go about it. Nice screenshot of Evanskill here. I don't know if that's the Empress or if that's just some type of people you fight here, like her bodyguards and then the Empress, or if that's just like two bodyguards and a captain or whatnot. But self-explanatory, I guess. They also posted about talking about the new expedition, Garden of Genesis. The birthplace of Angry Earth. Like I said, it's mostly a lot of lore on it. Only humans or the colonists can purge it from corruption, stuff like that. It tells you here the entrance is located northwestern part of the crater in Eden Grove. Players must have completed the foreign quest. Now, I find this interesting that you have to do quests to access these places, which is awesome. That means you can't just go higher level somewhere and then go into any quest you want to do. Or this expedition anyway, not necessarily quest. You have to do these two quests though. Yeah, right here. You have to do Survivalist Elwood's quest in Eden Grove at the last standout post, and Ranger Harris quest in Shatterwood Mountains at the Mountain Rise Outpost. Guys, if I start stumbling over my words, I apologize, but I've not really read this and learned to learn it, so it's kind of like I looked through it, skimmed it, figured out how I wanted to break the video down to you. It's going to be a long one, but it is what it is. So there's two bosses, it seems like, in this place as well. You got the caretaker and the blighted gates, the Blighted Greenskeeper, Murky Waters in the den of this one, once Gentle Giant. So the caretaker was a Gentle Giant, Murky Waters. So I'm assuming that's setting up like if you're in the cave and you find that Murky Waters, you might be close to the caretaker. Blighted Greenskeeper, the Blighted Soul stands guard at the very heart of the Garden of Genesis. So it's right. I guess it's the main boss then. I guess the Greenskeeper is the main boss. Then we're switching up out of the new content. The Ebb and Reach. So this is more stuff it goes into as far as like general updates and stuff. They introduced the first version of the Outpost Rush, which a lot of people was like, I seen on Twitter, a lot of people was like happy that it came out. A lot of people's like, well, I'm a PvE player, so why do I need this? Why do we need this? But you got to give and take on each one, right? When the week preview came out, I didn't want it to end. I was one of the ones that didn't want it to end. But I will say at the time it was not ready for launch. But I had a blast playing it. And that week I probably put in, I put in well over 100 hours during that week. But let's keep going here. I don't want to get too sidetracked. Too much stuff to read. It's a 20v20 PvP game mode. It's an in-game. They've also updated the main story quest to level 40, and they added in English voicing and the new parts they put in. New armor and weapon quests. Self-explanatory, right? It's quests that you can get armors and weapons in. Starting at level 40, so you'll have to get to level 40. I'm assuming before you can do these. Now, where I am going to be an armor smith, I do like this right here, is that the gear obtained through these quests is not in contention for best in-game slot. So we don't expect this to hurt the market for in-game crafters. I'll be an in-game crafter, and I'm glad to see this, that my stuff that I craft can turn out better stats than what in-game can. The in-game and end-game armors and weapons and stuff along that line. I do have a Discord, which I'll probably put it in the information down below, just in case anybody wants to join, because we're still looking for people to join. We need a jewelry maker, furniture maker, alchemist. If anybody wants to do alchemist cook, they can do that together. As one. There's just so much stuff we need. We need a lot of people. We need frontline fighters if we plan on taking over any type of city and stuff like that. Each quest has these prerequisitions: completion of all zone quests for the area the quest is found in, completion of the main storyline up to a Pacific threshold, and player level 40 plus. Okay, so that's something I didn't see earlier. I kind of skimmed over it. That's kind of cool information. I kind of like how they put a level cap on it before you start doing these. And then, of course, it goes into, like, these are the armor quests. This is a quest chain consisting of 5 child quests, which will guide players to forge each piece of the set. So I'm assuming like each quest gives you a piece of like you'll get some type of material and maybe have to forge it. I know the weapon side is like it. The armor side's kind of cool too, though. Each successive quest requires a new player level. Threshold 40, 45, 50, 55, and 60. Okay, so 60's top level. And it looks to me like you said up here above it, starting at 40 and going up. Each 5 levels you can do a different quest. Unique quest recipes with no skill requirements are given for each armor item. Players can craft the item after gathering the requisition ingredients. Quest locations. This is all the quest locations here. I'll give it a second. If you want to read through this, so it looks like it's a light, medium, heavy. Weaver's Fin, Cutlass Keys, Brightwood. So I'm assuming that each one of these, like your light armor, you'd have to go to Severino and Weaver's Fin and do all of them, and you'll get like your helmet, greaves, boots, legs, chest piece, and then you work yourself up. So I'm wondering I'm saying 60. You probably have to get level 60 to do the heavy armor. We'll see as it goes. Each item in the set contributes to a set bonus, which will confer increased stats depending on the number of armor pieces from a given set are equipped. That did not make no fucking sense to me, but I'm not going to go back over it. Anyway, it seems like if you're wearing equipped, I'm assuming maybe blacksmith, like armor smith weapon gear, you have better stats increased. I'm guessing. It's the same with the weapons, except for it's instead of 5, it's a 3-child quest. Say here you got to gather materials and forge a weapon. So each one of these is a different one. You got the sword, great axe, bow, fire staff, and life staff. From Cutlass Keys, Brightwood, Weaver's Fen, Magistrate Allen, and Weaver's Fen. So there's 2 of them in Weaver's Fen, and Brightwood. So there's 2 Brightwood, 2 Weaver's Fen, and 1 Cutlass Keys. Self-explanatory. If you want to read it in full detail, word for word, pause the video, go ahead. That's why I'm giving it just a second afterwards. I'm saying some stuff afterwards, like if you want to pause it and go through it. Progression updates. This don't make no sense to me. Now, I did read the first few of these, maybe all of them, I can't remember. This don't make no sense to me. So the very first one says decreased XP required to level from level 8 to 60 by 10%. They have delayed this game back, 3 or 4 times now? For in-game stuff. Why would you decrease the XP required to level? That would just make it go by faster. So this one I don't quite get, and it's only 10%. Why not just go ahead and leave the other 10% in and make people grind? I know they're trying to probably balance it between your grinders and your casuals, but at the same time, there's got to be a balance in there. And I think that was probably only 10%. They might as well not even done nothing there. Decrease XP from PvP faction missions by 5 to 18%. This I don't get. I didn't do a lot of, during the preview, I didn't do a lot of PvP or nothing like that, or the PvP faction quests. So I'm wondering if maybe those quests gave a lot higher XP than just going out and killing creatures. Or corrupted or blights, whatever you're killing. So they decreased it. Which this is good, by the way. This actually slows it down. This right here speeds it up, though. Players killing weaker creatures now suffer diminishing returns on XP gains of 40% for creatures 10 to 19 levels below them, and 80% for 20 plus levels below them. I agree with this to a good extent, because if you're fighting creatures 10, 19 levels below you, you're probably harvesting for something. You're probably harvesting hides or wolf essence or what have you. You're probably harvesting a bunch of stuff to put together, and why would you need to level up quick on something that's weak or weaker, a lot weaker? 10 levels, that's a lot weaker. So you can go up to 9 levels and still be getting full experience off of them, but as soon as you roll over to that next one, done daughter. So I agree with that as well. It seems like it would slow the game down, make it more realistic. Realistic being as you don't gain experience in real life, but the more and more you do something, the more and more you do it better, the less you have to learn, right? So you do drop stuff off. It ain't saying that you completely stop getting experience, but you're losing a mass majority, especially when you hit 20 levels plus. Which I'm happy with that. Sorry about that. It was system warning or saying something. I don't know what it was. Let's mute those. I don't want those back on. I had a Windows update the other day and it broke all my stuff. Anyway, let's get back into adjusted level range at which enemies present to players with a skull icon, indicating that they are high above the player's level and should be treated with caution. Previously, the skull icon was displayed when an enemy was 6 plus levels above the player. It is now displayed when an enemy is 10 levels above a player, which is cool. But they also done some work on this too. As a reminder, the skull icon indicates that an enemy with the level with the following properties has the following properties. They outright kill the player rather than leaving them at death's door. They have an increased perception range of 10 plus meters, and they do not get staggered by the player, which is cool. It kind of keeps you from going and trying to max level in a high area, which it can still be done, especially if you're running with a group of people. All you gotta do is take a bow, get one hit in on them, and this is all according to the preview, right? You just get that one hit in on them, and you can level. But that's kind of cool right there that they put this in. Enemies still gain armor buffs starting at level 3 or higher, which I didn't know when I was playing the preview, but this is helpful right here. And if they're 5 levels above you, they give attack. They get an attack bonus on you. Loot and gear. This is they adjusted the drop logic so that weapons are more likely to drop with attributes that are directly relevant to the weapon. In other words, like a hatchet's not going to have some type of sword skill with a shield, a buckler on it. I'm assuming that's what that means. So along the lines of stuff like that, it increased the chance of items dropping with a gem slot, so they are the same. So they are the same. So it wouldn't be this time. So they are the same as the chances of rolling other perks or attributes. That's kind of cool, but I wonder if it also increases the crafter's gem slots. Because I noticed when I was doing the preview and I was crafting a lot of armor, the people that I was crafting for would want gem slots. And to find, they was far few and in between. If I did find ones that had the gem slots on it, or crafted ones that had the gem slots on it, it took forever to get them. And 2, it seemed like they was a lot weaker than what if I turned out one that didn't have a gem slot in it. So that's kind of cool. So due to the multiplicative nature of drop calculation, this will also affect the odds of items rolling additional bonuses. So expect to see an increase in natural rare and epic rolls at the tier they are available. That's kind of cool, but like I said, I wonder if that goes over to the crafters as well. Only time will tell, right, guys? Gals? Added additional names items as expedition drops. That's cool. Each expedition boss and mini boss now has a wider variety of named items, including some name brand trinkets. Each expedition now has a variety of named items in its global dungeon drop table. After level 10, request war containers for armor and weapons will always result in an item of uncommon rarity or higher. Really? Really? After level 10. That's kind of cool. But at the same time, I think if it's after level 10, and it will always result in an item of uncommon rarity or higher. So you ain't gonna get commons after you reach level 10, which is cool, but at the same time, your crafters are gonna have problems with that, I think, unless it carries over as well. Like if a crafter's got above level 10 swordsmithing, maybe they start doing uncommon and above. That would be cool if they do that, but you gotta keep it adjusted to real world. Even though they said the crafters are going to be making better in-game gear, what about the middle and lower tier stuff? You know what I mean? Because when I was running the stuff on the preview, it had a lot of stuff we have to gather, and it was hard to find. Like tanning solution was hard to find, and sanding flux was, oh my lord. Both of those two right there is something that the crafters in armor and blacksmithing both need a lot of. So if you're going to be on the front lines fighting and you want to make some quick extra cash, I would put your sanding flux and your tanning solutions up on the market for sale, because they will start being sold a lot, especially for somebody that's coming in like I plan on. Me and my one of my other buddies are planning on coming in, and that first week is go straight to working on our crafting skill. So we're not going to be hunting all that often or going through chests, which is going to start causing us a problem with tanning and sanding flux. Let's continue here. Adjust drop logic of large chests, so they drop between 2 to 3 gear pieces. That's kind of cool. It gives you a better chance of maybe finding something better. All equipable items are now either bind on equip or bind on pickup. This is an important step to protect our item economy and keep demand for quality items high by ensuring that an item once equipped is removed from the economy by being bound to a player and unable to be resold. We create space and economy for similar items to be sold to other players on the trading post or scrapped for repair parts. I like that, and I know a lot of people's gonna fucking hate that because they ain't gonna be able to just go and sell armor that maybe they've wore. I done it during the preview. I had bronze armor from the ancients, and when I got to crafting my own gear and got better gear, I would take that ancient and put it on the market. Now that's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to do it, so it's going to keep all that stuff off the market. The only way you're going to be able to put it on the market is if you don't equip it. Now, it also says bind on pickup. So they did have few items in the preview that was bind on pickup. And it was coming from the bigger quest around Brightwood, stuff like that, in the corruption portals. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe only those items are bind on pickup. I hope they don't do that with Sand Flux and solutions and silks and all that stuff. But mostly silk items and stuff like that, especially ironweed silk, is not going to be on the market because people's going to be holding on to it crafting because they have to work their skill up a good way. It took a long time in a preview just for me to. It took me almost 3 out of the 5 days to do it. Granted, I wasn't full bore from day one on trying to craft the armor or harvesting for that matter, but that could be a problem or could not be. If it's armors and weapons and boots and bows and what have you, life staff, stuff like that, if it keeps that off the market, okay. But if it's keeping stuff like Sand Flux and stuff along that lines off the market, I'm not going to like it myself because it's going to mean that people that are trying to become master craftsmen or craftswomen in this case as well, craftspeople, what have you, it's going to be hard for us to focus on our crafting skills and go out and look for stuff we need to craft with. Update the look of some of the armor pieces dropped by ancient enemies in the open world, including Tier 5 light, Tier 5 heavy, and Tier 3 and 4 medium armor. Okay, well, that's cool. That's kind of cool. Crafting and gathering. Update drops rare rated. Updated drop rates. So it's pretty much the same as the weapons and stuff. But let's read over this because I'm interested in this myself. I haven't read this yet, so if I stumble over my words, look over me. But I'm wanting to see what they got here. Updated drop rates for rare gathering resources. Example, Fey Iron. I don't think it was in the preview. Fey Iron, I don't think it was in the preview. Drops are now less rare and more heavily impacted by luck bonuses from food and armor. Heavily impacted by the luck bonuses. Okay, so that's a good thing. So maybe we'll be able to keep up the tanning and the solutions and all that stuff. Sand and flux. When a drop occurs, it drops at quality range instead of just a single item. Adjusting the crafting requirements of named items to accommodate the additional rare gathering resources that multiple drops will create. Okay. Adjusted refining requirements for precious metals to reflect the same pattern of mundane metals. Silver ignites are now mixed with gold ore to create gold ingots. Okay, so you gotta have silver to craft gold ore now, and gold ore to have the gold ingots. Okay, that could have been done with that because silver's not in gold. We all know that, but I guess they're adding it together to make it. Maybe you need more stuff of each part to do something to slow it down, which is I'm fine with. This is a necessary step in keeping the demand for silver relevant, like we do for other lower tier resources. Okay, well, I was completely out there. Silver, I guess, so you put silver on the market people that's in jewelry making, that use the silver are going to be looking for the silver. So more chances if you put silver ingots and gold on the market, gold ore, you're probably going to sell good to a jewelry maker. And there's going to be jewelry makers in there, believe that, because there's going to be people like me that's just going to be wanting to be more along the lines of crafting and sell than they are on the front lines. You know, that they still going to be a lot of frontline fighters and stuff like that because they're going to need the towns. Added new set of crafting modifiers that enables you to apply a specific attribute roll to an item when crafting. These, okay, let's read further into this before I start trying to make any snap judgments. These crafting modifiers come in a variety of sources, including loot containers, various enemy families, and gathering. Attribute crafting modifiers can be upgraded by skilled crafters to apply more powerful bonuses on higher tier items. Note that the tier of the item being crafted ultimately restricts the level of bonus that can be applied. So using a higher level crafting modifier on a lower tier item won't necessarily result in a better bonus. So okay, so the higher the tier, the better the bonus, in other words. But it's going to take a skilled crafter to do that. So that's not a bad deal. See, so it's kind of leaving the crafters in the game something to do and we're not overlooked. Upgrading the attribute crafting modifiers require the transmutation catalyst, which can be purchased from your faction shop. Okay. So I'm going to have to do some stuff for the faction to get the transmutation catalyst. Now I'm wondering, so I don't know if y'all noticed, but when you went to your faction's PvP place, it had different levels of stuff, right? You had your lights with your weapons and armor and all that. Lights to heavy. I wonder if the transmutation catalyst is going to be the same. Is it going to start off at, say, a certain tier, then medium, then heavy, or what's going to happen there? Remove the ability to scavenge elemental essences down to lower tiers. Instead, skilled alchemists. So here's your alchemist guys, if y'all, or girls, if you're arcanist in this case. This is for y'all. Can upgrade elemental essences to higher tiers. Tier 1 elemental essence can be acquired in the world. All others must be upgraded. So you take your base level 1, and you probably have to mix it with other stuff to make it a tier 2. Get so many tier 2s, mix it with something else to make it a tier 3. Right, self-explanatory. Primary ingredients of procedural crafts are now contained to their tier. Okay. We are seeing some confusion with how the system worked with regards to changing the tier of the primary ingredient, resulting in changing the entire recipe. I'm assuming it's still with the alchemy stuff. Second ingredient can still be used as any tier of ingredient or resource and achieve the same effect. I didn't do a lot of the alchemy stuff, so this is kind of over my head. Done a little bit, but it's mainly just cooking stuff up. Right, go figure. Just cooking stuff up and making some like small. I think I got maybe to a standard health potion or something like it. Unmask the variety of secret ingredients in the ingredient selector on the crafting screen. Players should now be able to see the various ways rare resources like Fey Iron can be used even without having the resource. That's cool. That's cool. So you can see what your next step's going to be and what it's going to require if you come across it. Hopefully you can farm it and you're good to go. You might have it when you hit that next level. You might have an abundance of it and be able to blast to start doing more and more and more and more and more. Tier 2, craftable name magic staves now grant attribute bonuses that directly benefit their performance. Reduced craft ingredients required for repair kits. Oh yeah, I forgot you got to repair your armor and stuff. I forgot all about that, which is cool because it's reduced crafting ingredients, which is awesome. Increase the attribute bonuses provided by food at each tier. That's awesome. Tuned health recovery food buff to recover more health and adjusted the burst healing time from 10 seconds to 20 seconds. It now also has a status effect to more clearly explain the mechanic. Now, the reason they done this is because now your potions, your food buffs, and all that have a cooldown on it. Your haste potions, they all have cooldowns. Adjusted buff durations on food, potions, and coatings so the higher tiers last longer in addition to being more effective. That's a good... all this is good so far. Added material converters to the faction shop. Material converters can be used to alchemically convert refining resurgence sandpaper to another refining resurgence with a small loss of efficiency. Currently, the ratio is 4 to 3, and the action required to use one of the refining stations in a settlement. Now, this brings me to a question. They're using an example of sandpaper. So if you take sandpaper and you use this material converter, can you convert it to sand and flux? Tannin. Can you do, like, say, the solvents, the green bottle solvents, and turn it into tannin solutions? Got me curious. That's got me. That's something I'm gonna have to learn right there, and I'll probably pick it up on the beta, bring an update, and try to hit on some of the key stuff when the beta drops. Fishing, tuning, and polish. Now, this was something that wasn't in the week preview, and I may end up being a full-time fisherman after a while. Polished fishing quest objectives improve the rewards, including new fishing armor with new perks and special fishing posts. So I'm wondering if you're an armor guy or girl, guy or female, man or female, I wonder if they could make the fishing armor and your weapons person could make the fishing rods. Huh. Added rarities, tiers to the fishing fillets to support fish rarity and bolster procedural cooking, as well as general salvaging improvements. The cook guy or the cook person, I have a bad problem saying guys. I don't mean it like it. It's just a general term. So I'll try to keep it to people or persons as much as possible. But for 30 some years, I've been saying guys as a general term. Excuse me on that, but your cookist, is that a word? It could be something for them to look at as a full-time fishing. Think about it. If you sit there and fish, you can pull food out all day and cook it and level your skills up and do different stuff. Go hunt for some turkey and eggs and boar meats and wolf meats and stuff like that, and mix it all together and get you some of those. I can't remember, but them little purple flares. I know once it's played, it knows what I'm talking about. Added fishing projects to territory projects. Oh, okay. So what this is, so when you was upgrading a town where they put contracts on the board, the reigning faction over that, or the reigning guild over that town, they would have to put up territory projects. Once those was met, then they could bring up the next part, increase certain shit. You know what I mean? Like level stuff up, like level the tannery up from 1 to 4 or 5 or whatever the tier was. So now, instead of just doing like stone, wolves, turkey, feathers, stone, iron, now fishing's going to be added in there too, so they'll need so much fish to upgrade something as well. That's kind of cool, in my opinion. This is for your they call it UX UI. I always call them UIs myself. We're implementing some improvements to the inventory screen for these releases. We've changed the overall screen's presentation. Added a full character view. Let's see if I can get all this in there at one time. Okay. Added a full character view for players to inspect their loadouts in full glory. So if I think you didn't have a guy there to start with, you just had the equipments that you could put on here. It was just this screen and these. I don't think you guys stood there. I can't remember. I'm going to have to go back and watch one of my Twitch videos and find out. Added a new dynamic layout that keeps your inventory closest to your equipment for more convenient drag and drop, and less accidentally dropping items. So I'm assuming like you click here, pull it over, click here, pull it over. You get the gist, right? All icons have been upgraded to single size grid squares, allowing more compact formatting in multiple screens. So I'm assuming they're talking about like one square, one square, one square, one square. All icons have been updated. Okay, I've already read it. Let's see. Added equip load numbers for players to clearly see the threshold amounts for their equipment loadout. Here. This is what this is. And your overall carrying capacities up here. Which I think they had this before, but it might have just been numbers. Now you got like a bar. And you got here your heavy. So that's kind of cool. They're working on small stuff like this. Combat this. You frontline fighters. For the ones watching the video that maybe want to be frontline fighters, do all that stuff, PvP, whatever. But this also falls under AI, so your PvE players as well. So it says AI combat updates, part 3. We've continued to tune and refine our existing AI combat experience. Um, we've updated another large batch of AI enemies. So they have, if you back at the beginning in Ebon Reach, they put in more AI. Potions now have a cooldown. Now, see, this is what I was talking about earlier. Potions now have a cooldown timer. Potions of the same type will share a timer when consumed. All health potions, all health regens, all mana potions, not allowing you to consume another potion of that type until the cooldown has expired. The act of consuming a potion is considerably faster and no longer slows you down if you're navigating, i.e. running. The respective cooldowns in place are 10 seconds for mana potions, 10 seconds for cleansing potions, 30 seconds for health potions, which I guess you're going to have to rely on the magic staff or the life staff, 30 seconds for health regen potions, 60 seconds for haste potions. Now, with that being said, I think it's stupid. But that's you see how they started out AI combat, right? So, and it talking about sharing. So, example of it sharing is like a food buff, a health potion will share. To me, this is the way I interpret it. Will share a cooldown timer. So if you take a health potion and then you eat something, it's gonna put in a big timer, right? So I'm assuming that's what it is. If food don't fall under it, then I don't understand maybe a small health potion, large health potion, and medium health potion. Same with the manas and the haste. Possible. Possibly it could go along that lines. The default block angle is now 180 degrees in front. The previous angle of 90 would sometimes allow hits through even what when it looked like it was blocked by you seeing it as you're going. Like you say, you had your shield up here, it hit here. Even though your shield was here on the out diameter of the shield, it would allow it through. Now it's 180 degrees, which is pretty much your whole fucking front. Think about it. That's from here like it straight out the side. Update functionality on melee attacks, which should now have more consistent hits against shorter enemy or enemies that are above or below you on an incline, resulting in fewer misses while attacking. Probably a good thing for bow users. I'll probably be running a hatchet and a great axe, or a great axe and a warhammer. Probably double up on the axes. I'm not a PvP player, and I know they debuff the hatchet, but you know, it is what it is. Attribute rework, increase the amount of damage scaling per attributive point invested. We want players to invest in the appropriate attribute to use weapons efficiently. That's awesome right there. Reduce base damage of weapons to account for the new attribute points increase. So, you got a sword that says it's 100. This is before this update, right? So you had a sword that's 100. You put a point in that, and it might have went up to 105. Now you put a point in it, it'll go up 10 points, but that sword that was a level 100 is now below a level 100. So think about that. They take away on one end, put it on another end, but at the same time, you're still losing base damage. That don't make no sense to me either. Adjust the way dual attribute weapons scale to make them competitive with single attribute weapons and offer more build flexibility, increasing single attributes weapons still offer max weapon damage, but this will keep dual attribute weapons competitive. That's kind of cool. That's going to a PvE side or PvP side of it. That's kind of cool. But if I do great axe and a hatchet, is still a single weapon, right? So, but this is talking. I don't. What weapons are dual handed? Besides a bow, I think a bow was dual handed, right? Because you have to hold it and pull it. I don't know. It kind of makes me wonder what other kind of weapons they have in there now. Single attribute weapons only have one primary attribute, and they will always. And the way this single attribute scales is considered the baseline one times. Warhammer strength, great axe strength. It goes through what you need, right? Bow's dexterity, intelligence, and focus for magics. Dual weapons. Okay. So it's not necessarily dual handed. It's just dual. So a rifle, Needs dexterity, intelligence, sword. A sword? So the hatchet is a duel as well. I'll leave it right there for a second. Y'all can pause it. Pretty much probably paused it, I guess. Here, I'll go up one more so you can see the Warhammer down. Y'all can read through it. My throat's getting a little sore, so I'm trying to get through this as quick as possible, and we still got a long way to go. Armor changes. Physical and elemental armor rates are now scaled consistently across armor classes. This means that the heavy armor now has the highest armor ratings for both physical and elemental damage, while light armor has the lowest. That's good to see. That is good to see right there. You would think your light armor though would have a higher elemental resistance, and your heavy would have more of a physical. But I see the way they're doing it; they're just scaling it up as it goes. Well, each weight class has 3 different types of armor distribution. Though, you can read them right there. The amount of armor that shields provide have been reduced significantly. New damage mitigation bonuses. Ground shields 1.35%, kites 2.16, tower shields 5.2. So they brought in tower shields. That's awesome. They brought kite shields in too. If I'm mistaken, kite shields may have been in the first one, but you didn't see them all that often. It's mainly just your round buckler. Shield weights have been standardized across tiers. Bigger the shield, the more it weighs. Equip load changes. Grit changes, balances. So this is all everything they've balanced. I'm not going to go through all this because if you've been keeping up with it, you know. If not, you pause the video as I'm scrolling through. And all this goes down to it. Like these are all your weapons and stuff like that. Rapier was a new weapon they put in. Great Axe is a new weapon they put in. All this stuff down through here though is like what they've changed in the classes. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to get into it. Let's scroll out a little bit so I can see where we're at here. Bows, spears, penetrate. So yeah, muskets. So this is all the weapon changes and what they've done to combat or changed up on them. And that's pretty much all of it, guys. I'll put a link down in the description to this page if you're interested in read through the weapon changes and their tiers with them. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like I said, subscribe if you like the content. I will try to do these each time. This one was a very long one though. And each time they come out with a post, and we'll see to keep up with it, to kind of keep up with it. And I'll be live on Twitch streaming this game when it officially drops. And if we're allowed to during the beta, I'll be streaming it during the beta as well. Probably a different way than what I will be doing when the game actually drops. I kind of want to experience some of the other angles on it too. But guys, thanks for hanging in there. I hope you watched the whole video. If you didn't, if you did watch the whole video, leave a comment down the section below and let me know what you thought about it. Anyway, let me know what you thought about it, even if you didn't make it all the way through it. What are you looking forward to? Are you planning on playing it? And if you are, what kind of classes do you think about going for? Leave that all down in the comments below. Subscribe and turn on the bell for notifications. I think it's juicy stuff for YouTube. You know how it is. Tell them all you fuckers stay classy. Peace.